Alright, so today happens to be Saturday, February 16th. The dust has settled from Valentine's Day, and I know I talked on the last podcast about the fact that my wife and I really don't do anything for each other for Valentine's Day. We kind of just get what we want, and we go, hey, by the way, I'm getting this for this, and you're like, okay, cool. You know, as long as it's in the budget, you know, we don't really spend extravagantly. We stay within a budget, and we, you know, just kind of be smart about our money. We sit down together and we do our budget on a regular basis, and I know that bores a lot of people, but listen, if you're not talking about your money, then what are you talking about? I mean, think about the fact that I heard the saying recently, money doesn't matter until you don't have any. And that's the truth. Money doesn't matter until you don't have any. Then it's really important. But, you know, I got surprised. My wife surprised me with a gift. She had told me, she says, there's going to be a box coming in the mail, and I'm hoping that it doesn't say the name of the company on it because I want it to be a surprise. She's like, you're very hard to surprise. So, and plus she'll admit she's probably not the kind of person that just thinks, you know, outside of the box of, oh, I bet he'll really like this, you know, because pretty much anything I'm looking to get, I talk to her about. I mean, you guys know, you're listening to the podcast. I talk about everything. I don't care. So, you know, she, I guess, had just come into contact with somebody who had done this, and she thought outside the box, and I got a box, and I opened it up, and I was totally surprised because on the inside of the box, when I opened it up, I made a YouTube video out of it. I'm going to post it today, so look on YouTube to see that as it comes. But as I opened the box up, there was two other boxes on the inside, and both of them were completely wrapped in duct tape. And I was like, well, who wraps boxes inside of a box, inside of, you know, with duct tape? That's a bit excessive. And I still, like, there was a small label on the, you know, packing slip or whatever on the front of the box, but I didn't read it because I wanted to be surprised. You know, some people out there are the kind of people, they want to find out everything. They want to find out the information to every little piece of every little detail of their life, and they're like, I just want to figure it out before everybody else does. You know, the kind of person that goes to watch the movie Sixth Sense, and they're in the theater going, I hear there's a surprise ending, and within like 10 minutes they go, oh, Bruce Willis is dead. Holy cow, nobody else can see it. And you're like, what? You know, oh, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Sixth Sense, yeah. So, if you haven't seen Sixth Sense, you need to go watch it, okay? Even with what I just said, go watch it. It's good. But I'm the kind of person that is there for the gullibility and the enjoyment. I'm like, yeah, I want to be surprised. I want to be shocked. I want to have that reveal moment where you go, aha! You know, I have a hard time with if you know a secret and then it gets revealed later, like faking surprise, being like, hey, how about that? I mean, because you can almost hear it in my voice and see it in the way I talk that you go, you already knew, didn't you? So I did not want to know. I acted surprised. I opened the box. Not acted surprised. I was surprised. I opened the box, saw the two duct taped boxes. I opened those boxes up, and inside the first box that I opened, there was like a piece of wood, and I was like, what's with the wood? And I started rotating it around and looking at it, and I realized it was some type of like tool chest caddy type thing. You know, it had little separators on top. It had like 6 little holes, and I was like, what's up with that? And I thought, okay, obviously this holds something. So there was another heavy box inside of that, and I opened it up, and inside of that was like little peanut snacks that were inside of these glass bottles. I mean, it was pretty cool. It was decorated nice, and you know, one of them was like really spicy, one of them was like regular peanuts, and the other one was like a trail mix kind of mix with some raisins and stuff. And I was surprised. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I thought, wait, but there's another box in here, and the other box is bigger and heavier. And I thought, okay, well, let's get this thing out of here. So I dug it out, and I used my knife, and I cut it open and got inside of it. And the first thing I saw when I opened it was a giant wooden crate top. It said, get ready for the fun, something like, you got this upside down, flip it over. And I thought, oh, crap. And I thought, well, wait. I opened this side up. Let me just flip it over and then lift the box off of it. Now, my wife was pretty smart in the fact that she knew that I was going to be opening this up, and she, I guess in her mind, had kind of pictured me opening this up on YouTube camera, and so she had said, hey, do it on the kitchen table, and I'll get some towels and put down that way it won't make a big mess everywhere, and you can film it there, and it'll look great. And I was like, okay, cool. So we did that, and I was able to lift the box off of the other box, and inside was a wooden crate, and it had stamped on it, Man Crate. Well, I've heard about Man Crate. I've heard about Man Crate on different people's podcasts. I heard it on Adam Carolla's podcast, on Burt Kreischer's podcast, on Joe Rogan's podcast, and it was always advertised like around Father's Day or around July 4th or Labor Day. All of the prime dates whenever it was time to do some grilling. And I'd heard about it and I thought, that sounds pretty cool. And for some reason, I just never went on their website to check them out. And I didn't. And time went on, and you know, I had gotten really into grilling in the last year and stepping up my game and buying that pellet smoker by Grilla Grills. And I guess my wife had seen or heard somebody getting this kind of stuff, and she thought, this is a great idea. So it's a crate. It's a wooden crate, and it's got stamped on it or burned into it, Man Crate. And I thought, oh, neat. This is the thing I've heard about. And there's a tiny little like pry bar that's like sitting on top of it. And I was like, oh, okay, I've heard about this. You're supposed to use the little tool to open up the box. And I thought it was going to be nailed down, but it actually was just hot glued. But you got to use the tool to crack it open. You crack it open and get inside of it. And when I opened it up, it had all kind of little goodies in it. I had some leather gloves that were insulated that come all the way up almost to my elbow. Looks like they'd be really good for when you're reaching over hot stuff, you know, just in case grease is popping. That way it doesn't get you burned. And I got I call it a switchblade spatula spork, or is it? It's not really a fork. What do they call it when it's got 3 tines? Is that a Triton? Yeah, I think I heard that on Big Bang. He said, what was it? 4 of them is a pitchfork, or 4 tines is a pitchfork. 3 tines is a Triton. He said, because that's what Poseidon had. So anyway, it's a switchblade Triton. Trident. Is that it? Trident? Anyway, it's really cool. It's got a nice handle on it. It's a good weight to it. It's really sturdy construction. It's got a button on it that clicks and the thing folds out so that you have some extra distance. You can use it short, you know, with it folded in if you're like close proximity or whatever. But that was really cool. I actually used that today, and I'll talk more about that in a second. But anyway, I got that. I got some. I got 2 things of barbecue sauce that are like, I think the name brand is Rufus Teague. I haven't looked them up yet. I did shout out to them on Instagram with a picture that I took of the actual stuff. And I got a thing of meat rub, like a dry seasoning meat rub. Smells great. I also had, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in this box. I also had these 2 smoker chip things that you're supposed to put on your grill. It's like aluminum foil in like a wedge shape, and on the inside is these wood chips. They got one that's hickory and one that's mesquite, and you're supposed to take the paper off of it, and it says to put it underneath the grill grates closest to the heat, but I got this pellet smoker and I'm just going to put it on the grill top in the back corner and just let the heat do its thing. I get a lot of natural smoke anyway from my smoker, but this is just going to help, and it's going to add more smoke flavor. So should be pretty good. So anyway, I got all of this, and I was just, like I said, totally surprised. Oh, I almost forgot. It also had a melting pot, cast iron melting pot, with a silicone brush that you, I guess if you wanted to make your own sauce or heat up to some kind of sauce or butter or whatever, and then use the brush to brush the stuff on as you go, you can do that. I may do that today, as a matter of fact. So let me talk about today, okay? Today's Saturday, and for the last 2 mornings I've had to get up super early. This past Thursday I got up at 2:30 a.m. Who gets up at 2:30 a.m.? Well, apparently we do at our job. So I got up at 2:30 a.m. and had to go from Florence to Beaufort and work all day, and that ended up being like a 14-hour day, on Thanksgiving. So there was no big reveal on Thanksgiving. There was no big anything. We basically just worked, came home, ate dinner. I cooked some steaks real quick and a salad. Made a salad and oh no, I didn't even have a salad. We had steaks. And why am I talking about what we ate? You don't care. Anyway, but since I started talking about it, we had steaks and some sauteed mushrooms and some green beans. But anyway, but yeah, then Friday I had to get up at 3:30, and then so today's Saturday. I went to bed at what I thought was a good time, like around 10:30, I think. I don't know how I stayed awake that late. I guess talking to my wife and just kind of getting all excited about the Man Crate stuff. I ended up getting up at 4:30 today. Now this is my day off. I got up at 4:30 in the morning. I woke up immediately, in like a panic in my dream or whatever. I had dreamed that I was somehow trapped underneath something and was trying to climb out, and I was stuck. And when I woke up, I was sleeping on my belly, and I was wiggling around in the bed, and I didn't want to wake up my wife, and I was like, all right, what's going on in your stupid brain where you're dreaming about this? So I got up, and I got out of bed, and I went to go to the restroom and come back out, and I don't know. For some reason, my brain told me, hey, let's just get up. Let's just get up and maybe we can watch something on TV. Maybe we can look at the internet, see what's going on in the world. I knew that I had this podcast to do today, and I thought, well, let me watch some stuff and kind of get some information on some things. And I never did quite get to that. I actually got on my phone and started playing SimCity Build It. Now, this is a stupid little game app that I play, but it's something that's kind of fun. It started off with just a simple, I wanted something to do when everybody was asleep and I didn't want to wake anybody up, but I kind of wanted to play a game. Now, I will say this, I grew up playing Atari and Nintendo and Sega and then PlayStation and then Xbox, and then when Xbox stepped up their game and went to 360, I could no longer control anything. Like, it got too many buttons and too many things do different things, and I suddenly became old. I could no longer keep up with anybody. And I pretty much quit video games. I did try to play World of Warcraft for a while, but again, my coordination is not as good, so people were playing using their keyboards, doing all kind of crazy stuff that I couldn't figure out, and I was like, well, this is taking a large part of my time and a large part of my energy, and I'm getting nothing in return. So I'm done. And I was done with everything for a very long time. And then with cell phones, I started playing these goofy little games. My wife started calling one of them Doodle Jump. It's basically a game called Hill Climb, where you push a gas pedal or you have a brake, and you just drive these little vehicles and jump over hills and stuff. It's a dumb little game, but it was something that would keep me entertained, or at least, out of trouble and busy while we were waiting to do other things. So, like, there was times where she and I would be on vacation somewhere, and I'd wake up super early, and I'm like, I don't want to wake her up. I'd get on the game and play this little stupid game for a while, and, So I did that. And somewhere along the way, I got involved in this SimCity game. In this Sims game, like, I didn't want to do the one with the people, because the people require you to do too much stuff, and, there's always some kind of crap where in the stupid game, you have to, like, reach out and make friends, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I just want to do my own little thing and play with my own little sandbox of crap. I guess a lot of that comes from, for a long time I was a single kid. My mom just had me, and then when she married my stepdad, I suddenly had a sister. And then that was at age 6. No, I was 12. No, wait. We're 6 years apart. She was 2, so I was 8. Somewhere in that range. Anyway, 7? I don't know. She was really little. She was a baby. When she moved into my life and became my sister, and she's still my sister to this day, no matter what. And when I was 12, my brother was born. But for all intents and purposes, I was pretty much a kid with no siblings for a lot of time, and I learned to play by myself. And that's kind of what this game is. You learn to play by yourself. You kind of build a city, and You can have little challenges where you make these things called VU challenges, VU Tower challenges. And VU apparently is the bad guy, crazy scientist, and you save up these points and you attack your own city, and then you can rebuild it and you get special little things from it. And I was like, okay, this is kind of entertaining. And somewhere along the way I got into a city league, and from this city league I just kind of bonded with these people. And in the beginning it was just sort of like, okay, what do we do as a group? And right about that time they started these challenges, and the challenges were, all right, we're going to take these, I think our city group is like 25 cities. We're going to take these 25 cities and we're going to wage war against 25 other cities. And we're going to have these battles. And we can destroy each other's cities with these things that we earn, these battle attacks that we earn. And you have energy that you can use, and you save up your points, and you save up all kind of things that you make in your factories. And when you get attacked you have to repair, and then your repairs get you other battle things, and it just became like a whole thing. And I was like, this is pretty fun. And I actually started getting into it. And, I think I've been playing it now for, I don't know, maybe 2 years or so. And in that time, I've kind of, started to get on it regularly. And I probably check on it once a day or once every other day. Or if we're in a battle, I'll get onto it several times a day and try and battle with these other people. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time out of my day. It's just usually when I'm trying to gear down at the end of the night, or if I come home from work and nobody's home, I'm like, oh, let me get on here and see what's going on. And sometimes they're in the middle of a battle and they're like, oh, good, you're here. Come on, let's go do this. And it's like, okay, cool. Or sometimes you log on and a war's going on and you've been attacked a lot and you're like, oh no, I got all kind of stuff to repair. I know it's goofy. I know a lot of people don't care. But listen, it's something fun for me to do. It doesn't hurt nobody. I don't set aside time of my day and go, no, I can't do that because I got to play this stupid game. Life comes first. And I think that's what a lot of people forget is, we live in a day where video games are very immersive. I know a lot of people right now are big time into Fortnite. I am afraid to even start Fortnite because I hear it is super addictive. And I don't need a thing taking over my life. I don't. I have the podcast. I have YouTube. We got our life to live. I got a job. I'm refinishing this wood. Grandson comes over a good bit. I'm cooking regularly. I've got enough to do. I don't need something else taking over extra time. Like if I'm going to take on something new, the thing I'm going to take on is going to be a project or a hobby or something that's going to give me some kind of return in the long run. I'm going to learn how to do something. That's where my interest is now. I want to learn how to do something. And it has nothing to do with learning a new video game. I don't care. I mean, I get the fact that downtime is what it is. It's downtime. And you need to relax in some way. And I made a comment to somebody the other day that I have no real hobbies. I mean, I'm getting ready to turn 45 this year, and I don't really have any hobbies. My hobbies, in a way, have sort of become an obsession and kind of, in a way, a job. Like, when you commit yourself to something, you have kind of burdened yourself, in a way, with a task. And you have to prepare for it, and you have to plan on it, and you have to, set aside time. And in a way, the hope is that you get something out of it, right? So for me, the YouTube came about because of my dad and because of a car, the 1964 AMC Rambler. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check it out on YouTube. I got lots of videos. It's parked in my garage right now, and it's really cool. That's how my YouTube experience started. Okay, it's grown a lot. I think I've got over 3,100 subscribers now, and I appreciate every one of them. But it wasn't planned. I didn't set out going, geez, I want to get here one day. It became just an obsession of, hey, I want to make these videos. I want to show people what to do or how to do this, or I want to make a video about how to fix this, or hey, I've learned how to do this. I don't see anybody else doing it on YouTube. Or you watch somebody's video and you go, well, that's a crappy video. I can make a better video. And that could be any one of us. That could be you watching right now or listening right now. You could go, hey, this Josh guy's an idiot. I bet I could do a better job. I bet you can. Go give it a shot. What is stopping you? We live in a day and age right now in 2019 where nothing stops anybody from doing anything other than your effort. It takes effort. If you want something out of life, you have to put in the hustle. You know, I used to tell my kids back in the day, back when they used to play console video games, they enjoyed playing the little Sims game on the Xbox. And I said, listen, your life is a lot like this Sims game in that you get nothing out of it unless you put in time and effort and work. Just like these little characters, your life is the same way. If you don't clean up your room, you get unhappy because your room is a mess. If you don't sleep properly, you get unhappy because you're irritated. If you have something break in your house, you got to fix it. And you've got to plan ahead. Sometimes if you need supplies, you got to plan to get groceries on a regular basis. And you got to plan for it to have money to get groceries. And then if you want something else, you have to plan and save and budget and get that money ahead of time. Everything is about managing your time and your space and getting what you want out of it. Now, the YouTube thing is a convenient thing in the fact that I can make videos when I want. And if I don't want to make videos, I just don't. I mean, it is, in a way, like your success or failure from YouTube just depends on what you do. Okay? If you decide to have crappy videos and you don't talk to your audience and you don't say hey once in a while and you don't invite people to be part of what you're doing and you don't do anything interesting, I mean, let's face it, there are some people out there that make videos about some pretty dumb stuff, and then you look down and you look at their subscribers and you're like, wait, what are you doing that's different? What is the draw? What is the thing that gets people watching you? And you got to have that thing. And in that process, like I heard Casey Neistat say, you got to think about your quality. Okay, so whenever you're making a video, you got to think, am I using the best camera that I have? And if I'm not, then why not? And if I have a crappy camera, then maybe I need to invest in getting a better camera. Or if my sound quality is crappy, maybe I need to do a better job of making sure my sound quality is better. And you take the responsibility on yourself and you make changes. When the podcast really started because I was sitting in a truck having conversations with people on a regular basis, and I realized that I'm coming into contact with, God, it's got to be in the hundreds now, of drivers who are all different than me, have different backgrounds and different histories and different things that inspire them and spark their creativity and that they're passionate about. And I love hearing what people are passionate about. In the same idea, everyone's favorite thing to talk about is themselves. So I try to strike up conversation. I try to learn about them. I try to get them comfortable with me and realizing that, hey, you know, I just want you to do a good job. In this life, there is the saying of teach a man to fish and you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish and you feed him for life. I wanted to embrace life and the idea of I want to teach everyone how to fish. If I've learned how to do anything, I want to teach people how to do it. I feel like passing on the knowledge that you learn is the most important thing you can do in life. Now, connections matter, quality time matters, your effort matters. But if you can't pass along the information you know, then it all dies with you. So, I wanted to do that. And I found myself having the same conversations over and over and over again with people, and I thought, geez, I wish I could just get all this out of me, because I felt like a bottle rocket with a ton of fuel inside of me just waiting to get out, and I couldn't find a way to get it out properly. I felt like at the time that I didn't have the narrative to do it on YouTube. My YouTube videos were mostly about, hey, this is what we're doing and check this out and blah, blah, blah. But I didn't have a narrative type voice like there seems to be on a podcast. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I mean a lot of podcasts. And some of them I listened to and then at a certain point decided, you know what, I'm just not that into it. And I've deleted it. I've removed it from my lineup. There's some that, have a lot of downtime and it's sort of like watching relationships as you grow up. You pick the best parts and you go, that's the parts I want to do. That's the parts I want to emulate. That's the stuff I want to talk about. Which is how I got the name for this podcast. Stuff I heard. I literally wanted to talk about stuff I heard. Because through sharing our conversations and through sharing that narrative, our community can become like-minded and thus have an effect on society. we have more of an effect on each other than the news or politics has over any of us. Now, some people allow the news to dictate their life, and they allow television stations and broadcasts, media, to just roll you into their blanket of fear and say, listen, this is what you got to be afraid of. Tune in tomorrow to find out what else you can be afraid of. It's all going to kill you. It's so terrifying. Oh my God, you thought you were safe? No, we got this just right on the outside, and oh my God, it's all so much. And you're just like, if you step away from that, you realize not a lot of that stuff really matters. They've really kind of made a business out of addiction to fear. And they want you to tune in all the time so they can keep selling you advertising space. It has nothing to do with them telling you information. It is more about them selling advertising space. There was a show on on HBO. I think it was called Newsroom. Jeff Daniels plays this character, and I'm telling you, you gotta watch this show, especially the first 5 minutes. In the first 5 minutes of the show, he's in a roundtable debate at a college, and they're going back and forth with some people on the stage about questions from the audience, from young college kids. And he's supposed to be a news anchor guy. And he used to be like a very Walter Cronkite, this is the news kind of guy, to, I'm going to talk about the things that are fashionable and hip and make sure I keep selling advertising space so I can keep making a lot of money for the station and for me. And he's in the newsroom one day, and in this round table discussion at a college, and this young girl gets up and she says, she asked all of the people, she says, what makes America great? And they go back and forth saying stuff like, democracy, freedom, that stuff. And they get to him, and he goes, yeah, what they said. And she goes, no, I think we want a real answer. He's like, no, you don't. And then he goes on like a subconscious tirade of why America isn't the greatest country. And then he rounds it off at the end, and he goes, but it could be. It could be again. It's a very powerful speech. It's a very well-written speech, and it is the kind of thing that kind of grabs you and shakes you and makes you think, wow, there's a lot of truth to the idea that we put on blinders in life and kind of parade through it thinking everything is okay, and we are sold into our own fears by whatever political party or news station that we watch, and we take our focus off of the things that are really important, which is connectivity in each other. And hey, listen, if podcasts can do that, like if long-form conversations without any kind of mediator or a person saying, you can't say that, you can't say that. Listen, you can say anything. I'm proof positive. So don't be afraid. Like, do your own thing. Let your freak flags fly. If you want to talk about something, listen, we are lucky in the fact that we live in America and we have the First Amendment. Freedom of speech. If you want to be a jerk and say some jerky things, you have the right to. People died so that you have the right to. So, hey, if you're a jerk and you say jerky things and people give you backlash, then you deserved it. Just be aware that's going to happen. So, my camera on my light is blinking. I'm getting near 30 minutes, so I'm going to wrap this up. I hope everybody's doing well. Have a great week. Please be a part of this. Tell your friends, rate, subscribe, share, and we'll talk to you later. Have a great day. I'm going to go cook this Boston butt. Yeah, baby.